story begins with a small beagle dog wandering the streets of capital city alone. The dog is lost and hungry. While walking through the streets, a man suddenly grabs the beagle and takes him away. The man brings the beagle to a secret underground laboratory. This lab belongs to Dr. Simon Barsinister, a scientist known throughout the city as a dangerous researcher. Dr. Barsinister had been working on genetic experiments to create superdogs with enhanced abilities that would not require human training. However, the city's mayor shut down his research project, calling the experiments dangerous. Dr. Barsinister was humiliated and became angry. He decided to continue his work in secret. Dr. Barsinister's assistant, Cad, brings the beagle into the lab as the next test subject. Dr. Barsinister prepares a special serum to inject into the dog. But the frightened beagle panics and breaks free. He runs around the laboratory, knocking over equipment. He accidentally spills the powerful serum all over himself. The liquid absorbs into his skin and immediately begins changing his DNA. The beagle suddenly becomes incredibly strong. He crashes through a thick metal wall and escapes. The impact causes a fire, and within moments, the entire laboratory is destroyed. The beagle runs out into the streets again. Back on the streets, the beagle searches for food but encounters 3 other street dogs. Not knowing about his new powers yet, he gets scared and runs away. As he crosses the street, a car hits him. The vehicle belongs to Dan Unger, a former police officer who now works as a security guard. Dan rushes out expecting to find the dog injured, but the beagle is completely unharmed. Dan is amazed and decides to take the dog home. What Dan does not notice is that his car now has a large dent from hitting the dog. At home, the beagle licks Dan's shoes, so Dan names him Shoeshine. Dan introduces Shoeshine to his teenage son Jack. However, Jack is not happy about having a new dog. After Jack's mother passed away, Dan quit his police job to spend more time with his son, but his new security job keeps him very busy. Jack feels lonely and disconnected from his father. Soon, Dan leaves for work and Jack goes to school. Shoeshine is left alone in the house. He discovers canned dog food and tries to open one, but his super strength causes it to explode. Food splatters everywhere. Shoeshine panics and tries to clean up. A mailman arrives outside and mocks Shoeshine through the window. Shoeshine barks loudly, and the sound waves shatter the window glass and crack the mailman's eyeglasses. The terrified mailman runs away. When Shoeshine tries to get a tennis ball under the couch, he accidentally lifts the entire couch. Jack returns home and sees the mess everywhere. He yells asking who did this. Suddenly, Shoeshine speaks in human language saying he is sorry. Both Jack and Shoeshine are shocked. For several seconds they stare at each other, then both scream in surprise. But what happens next changes everything. Later that evening, Jack and Shoeshine sit in a park. Jack asks how he got these powers. Shoeshine explains about being taken to a lab and seeing glowing liquids. After being exposed to those chemicals, everything changed. Jack's friend Molly arrives with her dog Polly. Shoeshine is immediately attracted to Polly. While Molly talks with Jack, Shoeshine tries talking to Polly, but she just barks back like a normal dog. After they leave, Jack tests Shoeshine's abilities. The dog demonstrates super strength, super speed, and super hearing. Suddenly, Shoeshine's ears perk up. He hears Molly and Polly screaming for help miles away. He sprints down the street and discovers he can fly. He crashes into several objects but reaches them in time. Robbers are attacking them. Using his powers, Shoeshine defeats the robbers and saves them. They only see a blur in the sky before he disappears. Shoeshine returns home and tells Jack everything. Jack promises to keep his powers secret. They fix the house together. Then Cad, Dr. Barsinister's assistant, knocks on the door searching for Shoeshine. Jack nervously denies knowing anything, and Cad leaves suspiciously. When Dan returns home and sees the mess again, he gets furious. Jack cannot explain. From that day, Jack and Shoeshine become inseparable. One evening while watching news about a jewelry store robbery, Shoeshine races downtown. He defeats the robbers with his super speed and strength, then disappears. Jack decides to help protect Shoeshine's identity. He designs a superhero costume with a bright letter U on the chest. When Shoeshine puts it on, he grins and declares he is now Underdog. From that day, he starts helping people across the city, stopping thieves and rescuing those in danger. The entire city begins talking about the flying superhero. Meanwhile, Dr. Barsinister survived the lab explosion. He tries to recreate the serum, but every experiment fails. Frustrated, he orders Cad to capture Underdog and get his DNA no matter what it takes. Cad disguises himself as an old woman and pretends to fall from a building. When Underdog rescues her, Cad grabs his collar. After a fierce struggle, Underdog escapes, but Cad keeps the collar. The tag on it shows Shoeshine's name and Dan's address. Cad rushes back to Dr. Barsinister with this information. However, the danger is about to escalate. Back home, Jack notices the missing collar. Shoeshine says it must have fallen off. Later, Shoeshine meets Polly again. She wishes she could meet Underdog. That night, Polly whispers asking where Underdog is. Shoeshine appears in his costume, and they spend the night flying and talking together. The next morning, Jack and Shoeshine visit Molly's house. At that exact moment, Dr. Barsinister and Cad break into Dan's home. They tie up Dan and order him to call for Underdog. Dan shouts for help, and miles away, Shoeshine's super hearing picks it up. Shoeshine grabs Jack and flies home at top speed. They rush inside, but Dr. Barsinister had set a trap. He captures both Jack and Dan. Dr. Barsinister tells Shoeshine that if he wants them to stay alive, he must give up his DNA. Shoeshine agrees to save his family. Dr. Barsinister drains Shoeshine's energy into glowing blue pills, then forces him to swallow red pills that remove all his powers. Shoeshine becomes just an ordinary dog again. Dr. Barsinister feeds the blue pills to 3 German Shepherd dogs, giving them superpowers. He reveals his plan to take revenge on the mayor and control the city. Dr. Barsinister and Cad leave with their superdogs, heading to City Hall. Jack and Dan manage to break free. Jack grabs a vial of red antidote pills as they escape. They rush towards City Hall with the powerless Shoeshine. Dr. Barsinister storms City Hall and plants a bomb on the roof filled with mind control serum. When it explodes, every citizen will become his servant. Cad captures Molly and Polly as hostages. Citizens gather outside calling for Underdog. Shoeshine looks at the frightened people. He has no powers, but when he learns about the bomb, he rushes inside anyway. Inside, Dr. Barsinister corners the mayor and demands funding and protection. As the mayor is about to sign, Shoeshine bursts in. In the chaos, Dr. Barsinister falls and his pocket rips. Blue pills scatter across the floor. Shoeshine quickly swallows one pill. Within moments, his powers return. Underdog is back. Dr. Barsinister orders his 3 superdogs to attack. Underdog dodges through City Hall as the building shakes from their fight. Dr. Barsinister watches his superdogs struggle to defeat Underdog. In desperation, Dr. Barsinister swallows all the remaining blue pills. His body mutates into a monstrous form. The ultimate battle begins between them. They clash in midair, crashing through walls. Underdog speaks to the 3 German Shepherds, telling them Dr. Barsinister is using them. His words reach the dogs, and they turn against their master. Furious, Dr. Barsinister smashes a control panel, activating the bomb. 2 minutes until detonation, Shoeshine races out and tells Jack he needs his costume. Jack tosses it to him. Shoeshine puts on the suit with fierce determination. He flies back inside, finds Molly and Polly, and sets them free. Meanwhile, the mayor promotes Dan back to police officer. Dan grabs the antidote vial and injects Dr. Barsinister. All his powers vanish. Dan arrests the defeated scientist. The crowd cheers, but the bomb is still counting down. Underdog rushes outside and digs deep into the ground. He grabs the bomb from the rooftop, throws it into the hole, and leaps away. A massive explosion shakes the city. The blast sends Underdog flying high into the air. Then silence. Jack's eyes fill with tears. Everyone believes Underdog is gone. But then, Shoeshine slowly opens his eyes. He is alive. The crowd goes wild with joy, cheering and crying. Shoeshine looks up at the sky, gives one last smile, and flies away into the clouds. Dr. Barsinister and Cad are put behind bars. Shoeshine returns home to live peacefully with Jack, Dan, and Polly. Whenever Capital City needs him, Underdog is ready to protect his home and the people he loves.